Because this is tropical moisture, it's coming in and it is dumping and it is rolling on out. I mean, look at this. It's really been focused on the west side so far, with Glendale in the past 24 hours picking up more than an inch of rain. Now, as you look to the east side, I mean, Tempe, 8 100ths, Chandler, 8 100ths, Gilbert just getting on the board with 1 100th. So I'm going to be updating you with these rainfall totals all day long, but I think this is what you're going to find is the most useful to your morning. This cone shows you where the moisture is going. So rather than just showing you where the moisture is right now, especially if it's not overhead, notice this cell right here is now tracking to the west, and I'm expecting this to be rolling through in about the next 20 to 45 minutes. It's strong. It's not bringing in some flooding, but that's really where it looks like the impact is, at least at this hour at 4:51 in the morning. The east side not seeing much moisture. All right, so let's track it for you. 4:30 in the morning. And what you're seeing on the graphic right here, these are wind vectors. So this is going to show you where the moisture is being carried. We've got some opportunities for some very pocketed, isolated showers this morning. Just showed you that, especially on the west side. And then by this afternoon into the evening hours, that's when it really starts to look like the moisture is going to be spreading out and really covering the region into the early morning hours. By 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, we've got substantial rain coverage. This is going to carry into the evening hours. On Saturday, we'll get some pockets of dry times, and then we've got some more moisture moving in. Then Sunday morning, once again, this looks a little south of the metro, but it's going to now start pushing to the southeast. If you watch those wind vectors, you could see, yeah, that vortex where we're really watching that rain to be moving will be closer to the southeast areas of the state. So that's kind of the screenplay over the next 72 hours. Because of this, we do have flood potential. National Weather Service issuing that flash flood watch for us today and tomorrow. Similar scenario for the higher elevations through Saturday. So rainfall totals, you know, they've been all over the place, but we're still prepping for up to an inch of rain in the Phoenix area and up to 3, possibly 4 inches of rain in the higher elevations. Now, temperature wise, obviously you can see we're taking a hit with the numbers, right? Everybody well below the normal range. And then next week, as we squeeze out the final drops of tropical moisture, our temperatures are going to stay on the shy side. For you and me, we went from 102 into the low 90s and then holding in the mid 80s all next week.
From the desert to forests, rugged peaks and valleys, Arizona's landscape is vast, expansive, and breathtaking. But the serenity and calm of the state's natural beauty can change in an instant. Monsoon season unleashes the untamed power of Mother Nature with towering dust storms, downpours, and flooding.
Oh my God!
Extreme heat. Tonight, 12 News brings you the science and stories behind the storms. 12 News Weather Impact. Monsoon 2025.
Welcome, everyone. Living here in Arizona means living through the monsoon and preparing for all of the possible scenarios, because we know things can change in an instant.
We deal with everything from flash flooding, blinding dust storms, hail, and even microbursts. How intense, how devastating, that is hard to predict, which is why staying informed is key during the summer months.
And that's where the 12 News Weather Impact Alert Team comes in. Our team of meteorologists have decades of experience, and they'll be here every day this season so that you can be prepared and stay safe.
Monsoon 2024 was one for the record books, one of the hottest and driest. Now let's take a look at what we can expect this season and how it stacks up to the past. The monsoon generates about 1/3 of our annual rainfall in the valley, but the last 2 seasons have been very dry and dusty. Monsoon 2023 and 2024 landed us in the top 10 driest ever. It was also the first time we had under 1 inch of rain for 2 consecutive monsoon seasons. But as we know, one season can vary greatly to the next. And this year, we have a 40 to 50% chance to see above average precipitation. The reason? Our soil moisture content is below average after coming off of a dry winter and spring. These dry conditions will allow the heat to build substantially during the early weeks of the monsoon. As the high heat builds, the thermal low over the Baja Peninsula will strengthen, and this will usher in more atmospheric moisture and humidity so our summer storms can thrive. Whether it's a wet or dry monsoon, notable weather can happen at any time. Here's a look back to a few in recent years. 2024 was more of a non-soon, but August 22nd was a day to remember. Afternoon thunderstorms showed their fury over Arcadia and Scottsdale and produced flooding, high winds, and hail.
We're actually hiding underneath a bus stop right now, trying to get cover from this hail. The hail was coming down for the past 15 minutes.
And if you happen to be underneath one of these storms, you're looking at 60-mile-per-hour gusts. Monsoon 2014 is the only summer in the 21st century that landed in the top 10 wettest monsoons. On September 8th, morning thunderstorms coupled with moisture from Hurricane Norbert generated the wettest single day on record at Sky Harbor.
Most rainfall picked up ever, not just for this day, but ever in all of our history.
But there were parts of the valley that picked up over 5 inches that same day. The scenes of water submerging the highways have become iconic, and this storm is considered the storm of the century for the valley to this day.
We're right in the middle of this dust storm. It's still going strong. These stop signs are just about to snap over. You can see how much they're shaking around in this violent wind.
On July 5th, 2011, Phoenix made national news for this iconic dust storm. The wall of dust originated in Tucson and traveled more than 150 miles to Phoenix and reached nearly 6,000 feet tall.
When monsoon storms hit, valley freeways become a fast target for flooding. Now, to keep our already jam-packed roads clear, there are ADOT pumps that are hard at work underground. And I'm going to show you how the rest of us can keep them running year-round.
One of monsoon's most dangerous threats is flooding, and it can happen in a matter of minutes on valley roads.
We have to be ready for the big monsoon storms that can dump, say, more than 2 inches of water in just an hour.
Underneath the nearly 10 billion miles traveled by drivers in the Phoenix metro area every year are more than 60 pump stations. I walked the steps several stories underground, touring the pumps with the Arizona Department of Transportation's Doug Ninsel. Ninsel says they can remove more than 12,000 gallons of water per minute when it rains.
If you had a 36,000-gallon backyard swimming pool, each of these engines with a pump could empty that swimming pool in about 3 minutes.
The pump's drawing storm water from nearby neighborhoods and freeways. It's vacuumed up through a large pipe. The system tells the pumps when to turn on.
Once the water is lifted by these pumps, that water is delivered into a nearby drainage basin, but also into the local drainage channel.
That water then flows to dry riverbeds. It's all created to relieve flooding.
So if we didn't have the pump stations, what you'd have is water wanting to gather at a lowest point.
It's a problem which has plagued valley freeways in the past. In 2014, parts of I-10 were closed during the storm of the century. In 2016, overwhelmed pump stations at I-17 and Indian School stranded drivers and shut down the freeway. To stop it from happening again, Ninsel says the pumps are updated and maintained year-round.
That's where you can get a challenge going, trying to lift all that water that wants to go to the lower portion of a freeway.
Technicians are on call 24 hours a day in case something goes wrong in the more than 150 engines, equivalent to a fleet of 150 cars.
Our technicians have to be ready to respond, to get here, figure out, is there a problem with that one engine, or do we have to start other engines?
And ADOT says Arizonans can also keep everything working at top speeds by not littering on freeways.
That litter that gathers in our wet well, it can wind up blocking the drainage grates that are in the facility. It winds up affecting the overall flow.
Ninsel says the trash can even affect the engine sensors, a valley-wide effort to keep freeways open when the skies do the same.
The last 2 monsoons have been more of a heat headliner than storm maker for the valley. And those towering temps, well, they're causing a cactus collapse.
And new research shows that since 2021, saguaros have seen a 7% decline. If they keep up that pace, researchers say the plants won't be able to sustain themselves.
My whole family is just heartbroken.
One
It shook the whole house when it fell.
after another,
I saw it leaning and I just saw it just like smash into it.
after another.
Isn't that just terrible? So it's one of our saguaros, and we've really been seeing a lot of saguaros dying throughout the last few years.
This fallen giant lies in Scottsdale's McDowell-Sonoran Preserve. Spanning 30,580 acres, it's the largest urban preserve in the country. Those who work to protect it are seeing it suffer.
We manage those trails ourselves, and we go out, and this past year, I think we probably had to chainsaw about 6 to 8 saguaros. So they don't always choose to fall over into the open space. They'll fall over on our trails. And these are saguaros that aren't just like the smaller ones that, are just starting off and everything. These are like our heritage, our historical saguaros that are in the hundreds of years old. We're the only desert that they grow in. So that's even another thing that's so heartbreaking, is like, that's our signature plant.
That saguaro is likely the next to go. Valley temperatures have been above average every single summer since 1968, with summer 2024 coming in as the record hottest. It was the first summer ever with all triple digits and a record-setting 70 days at 110 degrees and hotter. We also had a record 39 mornings with lows of 90 degrees and up. And Monsoon 2024 ranked in the top 10 driest.
Because we're not having cooler evenings during the summertime, the saguaros aren't able to transpire. So transpiration is the exchange of gases. So they release oxygen, take in CO2. But when it's so stifling hot, they can't do the gas exchange. Their pores can't open. And so essentially, it leads to where those gases stay trapped and they get super, super mushy. It's decomposing and then it's falling over.
What about wildfires?
Oh, so that's even worse. When a wildfire comes through, even if it's a small amount of acreage and it gets under control, the saguaros will never come back. The spines on the saguaro kind of act as kindling too, so the fire will go up and over them and burn it on both sides.
Do you think these toppled saguaros are going to be a trend that we keep seeing?
Possibly, if the trend still remains the same of not enough rain, specifically monsoons, and increased heat as well.
What are some of the other plants you've noticed stressed out?
All of them. Definitely the buckhorn cholla has definitely taken a hit because a lot of animals also get their hydration through eating other plants. So they have been gnawing on the buckhorn cholla. The creosote shrub, which is one of the hardiest plants we have out here, has also taken a hit. So they love to lose their leaves when it gets too hot. So we may see a lot of creosote shrubs without leaves this summer, which actually provides the summer rain smell that we get.
What can we do, if anything, to help protect these vulnerable plants?
It's hard because we want to do so much, but it's up to Mother Nature. I would just say try to enjoy the outdoor spaces you have as much as you can.
Still ahead, it only takes a few inches of water to change everything. Find out how rescue crews train to keep you safe during unexpected floods. 12 Plus is the streaming home of 12 News. It's the place to go for weather impact coverage, extended forecast, and life-saving tips during the monsoon. Download the 12 Plus streaming app on your TV and watch for free.
Hi, my name is Chuck Donald, Weather Watcher. Probably my favorite monsoonal picture is simple scene of saguaro at the top of a hill. It took me a while to get to that spot, but there were some great elements that all came together with great theater, dramatic clouds of the monsoon, and that left a great lasting memory as well as a pretty good picture.
Weather Impact Monsoon 2025 Special, sponsored by Burns Pest Elimination.
When weather changes in Arizona, you feel the impact.
So we'll tell you when to be on alert with 12 News Weather Impact.
By knowing when severe weather and extreme temperatures will strike with our up-to-date forecast.
You'll be prepared on Weather Impact Alert Days.
12 News has the most trusted team of meteorologists in Arizona,
dedicated to keeping you safe.
12 News Weather Impact, all day, every day.
And always on the 12 News Plus app.
The exclusive monsoon meter helps tell the weather story for the day ahead. The probability of sunshine, dust, thunderstorms, hail, flooding, and severe winds is forecast across the state on a scale from 0 to 10. Here's the meaning behind the numbers. A 0 on the monsoon meter means dry weather. We typically see zeros in the valley during the month of June while it's still dry and hot. A 1, 2, or 3 indicates an isolated chance for thunderstorms or blowing dust. While a dust storm warning may be possible on a day like this, severe storm chances are low. 4, 5s, and 6s indicate a higher coverage of storms, with several severe warnings possible. There may even be a threat for flooding, damaging winds, and even hail. 7s and higher means severe storms will be widespread. Large hail, damaging winds over 60 miles per hour, and even a tornado is possible. Certain storms could even be life-threatening if they rank a 9 or a 10 on the monsoon meter. Stay with the 12 News Weather Impact Team for updates throughout the day on TV, 12 Plus, and 12news.com.
When floodwaters rise, first responders don't hesitate. 12 News anchor Troy Hayden tags along with some of these first responding crews to see some of the most dangerous situations they can face all year long.
A swift water rescue is one of the most dangerous operations that law enforcement can undertake. We're at a training mission right now on the Salt River. And if you look out here, there's a scenario playing out that happens every once in a while during our monsoon. We have a simulated car out there with 2 young children and a woman on top of it, and they're stuck in the middle of a simulated flooded wash. This crew came down here and didn't know what they were up against when they arrived, but their mission is to get them out safely. The rescuers move out towards the simulated vehicle in what's called a delta formation. The leader with a pole, and all of them trying to increase their footing in the fast-moving water. They know time is critical, as seen in multiple real-life situations like this one in Maricopa a few years ago. A family on top of an SUV that could get swept away at any moment. The teams train here so they're ready for the real thing. Why is training like this important?
Saves lives. Saves lives, and you learn a lot of valuable lessons. Train as you would work.
The rescuers in this simulation secure the children and the parent, get life vests on all of them, and then work to bring them safely to shore. While it may seem like a straightforward operation, the hazards are extreme.
When you're looking at anywhere from 800 to 1,000 pounds of force being applied in a flash flood onto a body, onto a car, into a person, holding people down, it becomes extremely hazardous.
This mission ends with the victims rescued, and it sets the team up for success the next time they're in a situation like this for real. And all of us can do our part to help, especially by staying out of flooded roadways and washes.
The saying is, turn around, don't drown. If there's water in the roadway, just because someone else goes through doesn't mean that you're going to be able to, because you may hit the spot where it's been washed out, you may hit the manhole cover that's been washed off.
So again, this is not a scenario you ever want to find yourself and your family in real life. Do not cross flooded washes or flooded streets. Reporting from the Salt River, Troy Hayden, 12 News.
As storm systems ramp up across Arizona during monsoon, flood watches and warnings will take effect, letting you know when to stay inside and which areas to stay away from. I spoke with the Flood Control District of Maricopa County as they prepare for the busy time of year.
It has the dip and it's collecting that water.
One major flood zone in Maricopa County is the Indian Bend Wash, known to most as the Greenbelt.
360 some days out of the year, that is a great place for people to ride their bikes, walk their dogs, go golfing, all kinds of great things. But it's actually a flood control structure.
Lisa Blyler with the Flood Control District says it's here in the control center where they monitor all weather activity.
And it allows us to prepare, have crews in place to do cleanup if necessary, flood fighting if necessary.
Even doing a complete mock training exercise each June to ensure the county is ready in an emergency.
We're 24/7, always ready to help and make sure that the roads stay clear of floods.
Crews and you at home can search the site to track more than 400 rain gauges and stream sensors across the county.
Click on that map and find out. You can zoom in and see in your neighborhood. You might be surprised, they probably have one pretty close to you.
That ultimately send alerts to the Flood Control District so they can then communicate to the impacted city to take action.
Those are the areas where we're going to have barricades put up, whether it's us or one of the local municipalities, and make sure that you're not driving through that.
Not driving through, the most important piece of advice Blyler reiterates.
It just takes 6 inches or so to knock you off your feet of running water. 12 to 18 will take your car away. Anything over 2 feet, you're on your own, because even a fire truck can't go in there because they can't guarantee that they're not going to float away.
Rachel Cole, 12 News.
Are you tired of hearing that there's no rain reported at Sky Harbor Airport while your street floods during a storm? Up next, find out why the airport's numbers are the gold standard when it comes to measuring rain. 12 Plus is the streaming home of 12 News. It's the place to go for weather impact coverage, extended forecast, and life-saving tips during the monsoon. Download the 12 Plus streaming app on your TV and watch for free.
Hi, I'm 12 News weather watcher Marilee from Gilbert, and my favorite monsoon picture is, of course, of Tinker braving the monsoon season, sitting on my back wall, watching the weather come in.
Scale of 1 to 10.
It's a great day for the pool today.
How bad can a monsoon get?
3s on the monsoon meter just means spotty activity.
For over a decade, only 12 News has the monsoon meter.
West Valley is going to get a 5 on the monsoon meter, which means there's a heightened risk for flash flooding.
One number tells all.
We have an 8 on the monsoon meter. Large hail and flash flooding is likely.
The 12 News monsoon meter, exclusively on 12 News.
Okay, this may sound familiar. You get a drenching downpour, but then we come on and say, no official rainfall at Sky Harbor Airport. Why is the airport the one and only official rain report for the entire valley?
There actually is a good reason for that, but there are also plenty of other reports that we will bring you during the monsoon. Then we'll bring it right down to your neighborhood.
For more than 130 years, the official rain gauge for the Phoenix metropolitan area has either been located downtown or right smack dab in the middle of the valley at Sky Harbor Airport. Arizona State climatologist Erin Ann Saffel tells me there's a reason it hasn't moved over the years.
Even though it seems like it's isolated and in a place where it may not be representative, it does to us climatologically.
Because year in and year out, it provides us with a consistent measurement of rainfall, which helps us better track long-term weather trends.
We do have that one weather station, the Phoenix Weather Station, that goes back to the late 1800s. And so when we're looking at changes over time, we really need to keep track of that weather station in the same location to kind of see what may have been changing.
But the problem comes when trying to measure the highly variable rain that falls during the monsoon. These showers fall over a sprawling metropolis that has grown a lot over the years, and rainfall can vary widely from one side of the valley to the other. That's where the Flood Control District of Maricopa County comes in.
We realize the valley's big, and we want to make sure that all areas are being represented.
It operates a 24-hour network of gauges, providing real-time information about rainfall, floods, and weather conditions in and around Maricopa County. It's the largest network of its kind in the world.
And the reason the network is so big, the county's really big, right? 10,000 square miles. It's about the size of Vermont. We have 4 million people or so living here. And so again, to be able to keep track of what's going on in terms of how much rain's falling, or then when it becomes a runoff, you got to have a big system.
During the monsoon, an isolated storm may be dumping on this rain gauge here in Scottsdale, filling up the Indian Bend Wash nearby. But just a few miles away at this rain gauge here in Tempe, there may be barely just enough rain to measure. And that official rain gauge at Sky Harbor, nothing.
And if we want to be able to capture that rainfall for folks that live in Litchfield Park, or maybe you live up in Cave Creek or down in South Phoenix, you got to have an extensive network to be able to actually capture all the events that are going on within the county.
We understand that in the summer we're dealing with those convective thunderstorms, and so you may get a lot of rain and I may not get a lot. What we look at is overall what's happening across the state, and so we have a lot of different ways to look at that.
You'll hear terms like average temperature or normal rainfall during the course of our weather forecast. And even though they are quite similar from a meteorological scale, they are quite different.
Now, we do use that data to track trends in the monsoon season, but this data also has a huge impact on everything from energy to agriculture.
The term average is a calculation. However, climate normals are not so basic. Normals are the daily, monthly, or yearly averages over a specific 30-year period. They provide a standard for our surroundings.
The reason why we have these normals is because we're in a non-stationary climate, and so our climate is changing over time.
Climate normals are used to get a better understanding of the conditions around us. Normals help to evaluate drought levels, so local leaders can determine how much conservation is needed. Also, normals will help the agriculture industry estimate the expected length of a growing season, so farmers know to plant or plow. And in the energy sector, sector, they're actually hoping for a more recent normal period than the current 30-year span. They're pushing for a 5-year baseline.
I've heard it most around the energy sector, where they're even interested in having just like, oh, we want to use actually what's happened in the past 5 years as our base period, because in terms of, energy use or consumption related to things like heat or cold spells, that's been changing a lot, and they want the most recent data to be able to make these decisions about, how much energy is going to be needed.
When it comes to the norms of a monsoon season here in Arizona, well, it's a little trickier. One big storm could easily skew the bell curve of that mathematical equation. We know, compared to previous years, the last 2 seasons have been dry. Overall, based on the norms, Phoenix is seeing less rainfall during our core monsoon months to the tune of roughly 1/10 of an inch.
That seems relatively small, but then when you add that up over the season, it's showing a drier monsoon pattern overall. And of course, there's still a lot of variability there. Like you said, there's been some really, really dry monsoon years in the past few years, but also some very wet years. But what that tells me is that the drier years are probably more frequent than those really wet years that we're seeing.
New normals are released every 10 years. Right now, our norms are based on the years spanning from 1991 to 2020. The newest set of normals will be released in May of 2031.
Still ahead, triple-digit weather is here, and those temperatures can turn life-threatening in seconds in a locked car. We'll explain how the heat gets trapped and how to stay safe. 12 Plus is the streaming home of 12 News. It's the place to go for weather impact coverage, extended forecast, and life-saving tips during the monsoon. Download the 12 Plus streaming app on your TV and watch for free.
Curtis Eckert. I loved seeing the pictures and thought I had something to contribute, and I started sending them in. I look for things that are close by that may provide a good picture. I looked up to the north and saw a huge downshaft of rain, and the lightning just happened to be right there in the middle of it to light it up. So I end up taking, probably 500 shots to get the one shot that has the lightning in it.
Weather Impact Monsoon 2025 special, sponsored by Burns Pest Elimination.
Mark Zebel, and the weather watcher stuff, I enjoy watching and looking at some of the other people's photos. If the monsoons move in, I try to get out there before they hit. We just happened to have been driving back from the Big Lake area on a drive, and the sun was getting ready to set, and it illuminated that cloud, and I was just amazed at the colors that came out of it. I've never seen it so bright looking like that. So I snapped a couple pictures of it, and when I got them back, I looked at them and I said, man, that's really nice. I like that.
Every year, especially in the summer months, we hear awful stories about children and pets getting locked in hot cars. And the temperature inside of those cars, well, they can easily become life-threatening even when it's not summer. Meteorologist Crystal Long explains why it gets so much hotter inside your car and what you can do to keep your family safe.
The only parked car that's safe to be in is a virtual one. So I'll stay locked in here to explain how, if this were real, it would be a death trap. Your car has its own greenhouse effect going on. The sun emits visible light in the form of short wavelengths. These go through the glass and get absorbed by your car's interior, heating it all up, which then warms the air in the car. Now, your car's interior emits long-wave radiation. These wavelengths cannot pass through windows, so it gets trapped inside and accelerates the warming. Take a sunny 85-degree day, for example. In just 15 minutes, the inside of your car can reach over 100 degrees. And in a total of 30 minutes, it's nearly 120 degrees inside. Now, if it's 100 degrees outside, which is typical Phoenix, it'll reach nearly 120 degrees in this car in half the time. But it doesn't have to get as hot as you may think outside for it to be life-threatening in here. Most child hot car deaths happen at temperatures below 100 degrees. Say you escape the Phoenix heat and take the family on a road trip to the cool pines of Flagstaff. Even Flagstaff, at a beautiful 66 degrees, let's say, windows up, car parked outside in the sun, In just a half hour, it's 100 degrees inside. Never leave a child or animal in a parked car, not even for a minute. Open the back door every time you park or put something you need back there to remind you to double check. Keep your car locked, even if it's in the garage. Kids can get themselves locked in, but may not be able to get back out. Teach them to honk the horn if they get stuck inside. If you're out and you see a child or an animal in a locked parked car, don't wait. Immediately call 911 and they'll give you instructions. If the child or animal seems unresponsive, get them out by any means possible. These are just some things you can do to help prevent hot car deaths. Remember to look before you lock.
In no time at all, the Heat Respite Center at Central and Jackson will be busy. A family room built to comfort kids, water stacked everywhere, and air conditioning. 24 hours a day, every day. The city's heat plan is in effect.
Each life lost is a tragedy, especially because it is likely preventable.
The state's team of heat officials, experts, and coordinators is watching the forecast every day, sometimes a week out.
That allows us a little bit of ability to do planning and be able to see if there's any communications or any awareness that we need to spread. So it's something that we monitor very closely.
And it seems to be working. At least last year it did. 602 people died of heat-related causes in Arizona last year, but that's actually down from the year before.
Last year, looking at our heat-related deaths, it was the first year in 10 years that we've had a decline year over year.
Shelters, water stations, cooling centers like this, they've all helped. Thousands of people used the respite centers last year, and still, not enough.
We also need boots on the ground. We know that word of mouth is a really important mechanism for communicating information to some of our most impacted populations.
And all of it is expensive.
We have regular executive meetings to just monitor federal funding in general and to see those impacts that may be happening.
And right now, federal money is getting cut.
It's an unknown territory right now.
Unknown because some of the money that funds the heat-related activities in Arizona is not permanent. It's grants, one-time funding, short-term funding. The county has money from the American Recovery Act, but not for long.
That funding will extend through this summer. However, it is not available following that. So we are working with our partners, working with the county, the state, to ensure that we have funding for this moving forward.
We are expecting more and more cuts over future years, and the city's trying to be as nimble and strategic as possible because we know people are counting on us.
Because higher temperatures are only getting higher. William Pitts, 12 News.
If you've ever been caught off guard by a sudden wall of dust on the road, you know how frightening it can be. Coming up, we break down what you should and shouldn't do while driving through Arizona's notorious dust storms. 12 Plus is the streaming home of 12 News. It's the place to go for weather impact coverage, extended forecast, and life-saving tips during the monsoon. Download the 12 Plus streaming app on your TV and watch for free.
When weather changes in Arizona, you feel the impact.
So we'll tell you when to be on alert with 12 News Weather Impact.
By knowing when severe weather and extreme temperatures will strike with our up-to-date forecast.
You'll be prepared on Weather Impact Alert Days.
12 News has the most trusted team of meteorologists in Arizona,
dedicated to keeping you safe.
12 News Weather Impact, all day, every day.
And always on the 12 News Plus app.
Welcome back to the 12 News Monsoon Special. Tonight we focus our attention away for just a second from the rain and the wind, and instead focus in on some of the environmental factors that can impact all of us this time of the year.
That's right. When high winds roll in and kick up dust, it can cause dangerous conditions across the state. But what other elements can cause a dust storm? Meteorologist Crystal Long explains.
Arizona is truly the Wild West when it comes to weather. When you think monsoon, this scene probably comes to mind. From blue to brown in a snap of a finger. Just look at all of this dust. Visibility can drop to nothing in just seconds. Driving in this is extremely dangerous and can be a death trap. But before the scene gets to this, here's what has to happen. A thunderstorm is triggered. Air sucked up into the storm has to be strong enough to keep the rain in the air so it can evaporate and cool down. Once it chills, it gets heavier and drops like a rock. The downward rush of wind slams the surface and sprawls out in all directions, forming a gust front. It's kind of like a mini cold front, racing away from the rain and scooping up sand and dirt along the way. The most daunting dust storms in Arizona have been known to stretch wider than 100 miles and reach heights of up to nearly 10,000 feet. That's about 7 times the height of the Empire State Building. This intimidating wall of dust can move up to 60 miles an hour. The stretch between Tucson and Phoenix is the hot spot for dust storms. Most travel less than 100 miles, but get this. The record distance a dust storm has traveled in Arizona is 303 miles. We watched this monster dart through the desert in late July of 2016. Many times they're unexpected and come out of nowhere. Monsoon storms producing giant walls of dust.
It's a perfect combination, causing one of the most dangerous weather events for Arizona drivers. Now we show you what you should and should not do if you get caught in one.
It's summer in Arizona. You're driving in the desert and suddenly you can barely see the vehicle in front of you. A huge wall of dust stretching miles long and several thousand feet high has hit the valley.
When your visibility starts to lessen and lessen, it's just not safe to be out there. Really important because dust storms is what happens here the most.
Maria Wojcik, driving NBA CEO, teaches Arizona drivers how to make it out of dust storms safely.
This roadway's not good.
She takes us on a ride through a simulated storm.
If you see the wall of dust and you just want to start to slow down.
If you're on a freeway, you should exit, but if you can't.
The best thing to do would be get off to the right side of the road where you would typically pull over.
Pull over as far as you can, then turn off all of your lights, because if you don't.
If the visibility is really bad, then what happens is drivers will follow you.
Next, make sure your foot is off the brake.
If your vehicle's on, if your foot's on the brake, then your lights are going to be on. The emergency brake you can put on. It doesn't create a light.
Now, Wojcik says you can wait out the storm.
What about the seatbelt? The seatbelt, you can keep that on. You can stay in your vehicle just like this. Just kind of pay attention what's going on around you.
Waiting until.
When you can see, ahead of you, you can see vehicles in front of you, you can see the lights in front of you. When you can see well enough that you're feeling like you can keep the distance you need to, 3 to 6 seconds in between you and the vehicle in front of you.
It's clear to get back on the road.
For a safe commute, to get you going from A to B, stay with 12 News for all of your weather and traffic conditions by the minute. You can also download the AZ 511 app on your phone. There are great road alerts right there.
As many Arizonans know, our thunderstorms can pack a powerful punch. Meteorologist Lindsay Riley explains the different kind of severe weather we can see during the summer.
Monsoon storms can whip up in a flash, but when it comes to storm damage, straight-line winds are the most common.
Most thunderstorm winds that cause damage at the ground result from an outflow generated by a thunderstorm downdraft. When an updraft can no longer keep the rain and cooler air suspended, gravity will take over and it will fall to the ground. This is called a downburst. Severe winds are classified as gusts over 58 miles per hour, but the strongest storms can produce 70 and even 80-mile-per-hour gusts. The damage pattern from straight-line winds includes uprooted trees laid out in nearly parallel rows.
Microbursts are common during the monsoon season, and if one occurs, significant damage may be present as winds gust up to 100 miles per hour, which is equivalent to an EF1 tornado.
A microburst is another form of wind damage from severe storms. This happens when the core of the storm collapses. When drier air enters the updraft, a microburst can be the result. The updraft of the storm suspends raindrops and hailstones in the air. If dry air enters, the updraft is weakened. As the updraft is weakened, the entire core of the thunderstorm can come crashing down. The damage pattern from a microburst is more of a fan-shaped divergent pattern.
Arizona is not immune to tornadoes. In fact, our state averages 4 per year. Maricopa and Coconino County see the most, while Greenlee County has never seen one.
A tornado can develop when winds in the upper atmosphere are stronger than winds at the surface. If this vortex encounters a thunderstorm updraft, the rotation will be taken up and become vertical. At this point, a wall cloud may form and the rotating column of air may build down to the ground. It is only classified as a tornado if the funnel touches the ground. The strongest tornadoes can produce wind speeds of over 200 miles per hour, but the most common tornadoes in Arizona are EF0s and EF1s, which produce wind gusts under 110. The damage pattern from tornadoes is often chaotic. Debris may be scattered and twisted, with large trees crossing one another.
Right now, valley fever cases are surging across the state. Doctors and researchers are coming together to work on better ways to treat the disease at a new valley fever clinic. Here's 12 News anchor Caribe Devine.
Dr. Thomas Griss is co-director of microbiology at the Mayo Clinic in Scottsdale. He's been studying valley fever for over 15 years.
Yeah, it's something about the soil and the climate that it is in this area, and we're still not 100% sure where it exists in the environment, but certainly we know that it thrives here, and all you need to do is have lungs and breathe.
Valley fever is caused by a fungus called coccidioides that lives in our desert soil. It's too small to see, but can be easily inhaled when soil becomes airborne. And once inside the lungs, the fungus can cause infection. The symptoms are similar to a bad cold, but for some, it can be severe.
You couldn't tell it by now, but I lost a lot of weight, probably 30 or 40 pounds in less than a month period.
6 years ago, 54-year-old Chris Sams was active and working as a district manager for a bicycle company.
So we were always riding our bikes. I think I was riding my bike outside 100, 150 miles a week. So I was always outside, or I was watching the dust storms.
Today, Chris is one of Mayo's most severe cases of valley fever, and there is no cure.
I have problems walking, brain fog, and then I don't know if it's from the valley fever, but I've spent a number of trips. I've lost how many times I've been in the hospital. So it's a tough go at it.
Dr. Marie Grill is Chris's doctor.
Unfortunately, for less than 5% of the population, the infection can spread outside of the lung and can go elsewhere in the body. And when they're spread to the brain, that can cause meningitis and a number of complications related to that meningitis. It can be very severe.
Every 2 weeks, Chris comes in for an intensive treatment to target the fungus that has spread to his brain.
And so this is what we call intrathecal administration of a medication. And like Chris said, it means introducing the medication directly into the central nervous system.
Using a needle, antifungal drugs are injected directly into Chris's brain through a reservoir implanted underneath his skull. Chris's complex case of valley fever is one of many being treated at Mayo's new Valley Fever Clinic, where doctors and researchers are collaborating.
So most of this, in the first point of contact in an urgent care setting, people aren't even being tested. And part of the reason they're not tested is because the results take a couple days to come back.
Dr. Griss, along with researchers from ASU, are focused on improving testing. They've invented the world's first rapid blood test for valley fever.
So this is our prototype valley fever serologic test. So as you can see, it looks like the rapid test that we would see during COVID times. We just put a little drop of the specimen there, and then put 3 drops of buffer on.
Oh, this really is like the COVID test.
And then we just wait 10 minutes, but that's till the final result is complete. We'll see in just a few seconds the sample will start running across the membrane, and usually we can see a result starting to show up pretty early.
And in a medical setting, I mean, this would be great because a doctor would be able to prescribe medicine right away.
Right, right. Or tell the patient why they don't need the antibiotic that they think they need, because most people recover without treatment. The blue line is our control line. That'll turn pink when we see that the fluid has passed over. Oh. The T is the test line, and you can see it starting to appear. Oh. And so this is the one that would tell you that you have antibodies against the fungus. It's kind of fun. You can see it like right before your eyes.
But for Chris, valley fever has been life-altering. He credits his wife and daughter for supporting him and the doctors at Mayo for helping him get his life back.
Chris has been incredibly tenacious, incredibly strong, patient, and always kind through the whole process. Although I think many, having had such a difficult situation, wouldn't necessarily have.
I think awareness is the biggest thing, since Maricopa County is the #1 county for cases nationwide. Don't just sweep it under the rug. Speak about it, talk about it.
The monsoon is so ingrained in Arizona's culture, it's even inspiring our beverages. Up next, find out how Phoenix Beer Company's Monsoon IPA became a top seller and its creative nod to nature. 12 Plus is the streaming home of 12 News. It's the place to go for weather impact coverage, extended forecast, and life-saving tips during the monsoon. Download the 12 Plus streaming app on your TV and watch for free.
Hi, I'm weather watcher Michael Marcinko, and my favorite photograph was in the Sonoran Preserve with a Technicolor sunset with the most coolest colors and vibrant skies you've ever seen.
When weather changes in Arizona, you feel the impact.
So we'll tell you when to be on alert with 12 News Weather Impact.
By knowing when severe weather and extreme temperatures will strike with our up-to-date forecast.
You'll be prepared on Weather Impact Alert Days.
12 News has the most trusted team of meteorologists in Arizona,
dedicated to keeping you safe.
12 News Weather Impact, all day, every day.
And always on the 12 News Plus app.
Scale of 1 to 10.
It's a great day for the pool today.
How bad can a monsoon get?
3s on the monsoon meter just means spotty activity.
For over a decade, only 12 News has the monsoon meter.
West Valley is going to get a 5 on the monsoon meter, which means there's a heightened risk for flash flooding.
One number tells all.
We have an 8 on the monsoon meter. Large hail and flash flooding is likely.
The 12 News monsoon meter, exclusively on 12 News.
Every year, people want to know what the monsoon is going to be like. Well, now you can bet on it, or at least make your own predictions.
12 News journalist William Pitts explains the University of Arizona's fantasy monsoon game.
If you've ever thought, I could predict the weather better than those guys on TV or those guys at the airport, well, now's your chance. It's fantasy draft time. Here are your players. And this is game day.
Yeah, we just wanted to have fun, really, with the monsoon.
Zach Guido is one of the scientists at U of A who runs the fantasy monsoon game.
I think it's one of the seasons that everybody sort of rallies around.
Here's how the game works. You just make predictions about the monsoon, how much rain there will be for each month of the monsoon, starting with July. And you make them for 5 locations in Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas.
If rainfall is around average, they'll get certain points. But if they forecast, let's say, a really wet summer, a really wet July like it was in a few years ago, then they'll get more points.
And the more off the wall your predictions are, like a foot of rain in June, the more points you'll get if it somehow happens. And yes, Zach plays too. A lot of his scientist friends do. Because just because they're experts doesn't mean they're going to win.
I think the monsoon is pretty humbling if you study the weather or the climate. It is really difficult to forecast. We actually thought we were going to tap into only the sort of weather enthusiasts, because there's quite a big community here in Arizona and New Mexico. People who have their own weather stations in their backyard and monitor the rain and their rain gauges in the back of their house.
Zach says about 300 to 400 people play the game every year. So if you think weather forecasting is so easy, here's your chance. You have to sign up and make your predictions by July 1st. William Pitts, 12 News.
When monsoon storms hit the valley, they take over life in the desert.
All right, but a different monsoon is taking the craft beer industry by storm. Phoenix Beer Company, with its roots right here in the Valley of the Sun, took a cue from Mother Nature to craft a new brew.
So Monsoon was intentionally thin malt body, very simple in that respect. A little bit higher alcohol because it is West Coast after all, but all the emphasis is the hops. So Mosaic and Simcoe hops, very aroma forward, very flavorful.
Since 2019, Phoenix Beer Company has produced more than 1,500 barrels of Monsoon. That's about 48,000 gallons. Now in beer drinking terms, that's over 500,000 cans of suds. Everything from the flavor of the IPA to the design of the can is inspired by our meteorological monsoon. One side dark purple and stormy, complete with lightning bolts, and the other side with a colorful sunset over the iconic downtown Phoenix skyline. Monsoon IPA has even taken top honors from Arizona Craft Brewers Guild. The beer won Best in Show in addition to gold for its individual class.
It is our best seller. We've noticed that it just does well all the time.
With the success of Monsoon, is there now a haboob on the horizon?
Well, the idea has been tossed around to do more of a black IPA or kind of a brown IPA to incorporate all that stirred up dust and dirt in the air. We haven't gotten there yet, but maybe soon.
From intense heat and dust storms to powerful and dangerous flooding, Arizona's monsoon is always a force to be reckoned with.
So no matter what the season brings, the 12 News Weather Impact Team is here to keep you prepared and protected.
For more important life-saving information, safety tips, and forecasts, download the 12 Plus streaming app so you can stay in the know. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Weather Impact Monsoon 2025 Special, sponsored by Burns Pest Elimination.